Final segment of our program, Jones and Company today, and I'm so pleased to be speaking with Dr. Rome and Reverend Jadorette. Gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about crime.
Okay. Even though
and violence.
We like to talk about Fisk too before we.
Well, I know. I believe your work is completed so far on Fisk. I understand you had a good recruitment exercise here.
We did
on Thursday past.
We did. It was great, and we want to thank all of those who participated in making it happen. But we still have a great deal of work to do.
And I believe you came armed with some scholarships.
We did. We gave 2 full scholarships and a partial scholarship. We met with the Minister of Education so we can participate in the public school scholarship program with Fisk as a member, and so
support from Bethel at Bahamas Baptist Community College, and articulation process that we're looking at now.
The Baptist College, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Bahamas Baptist Community College, yes.
Very good.
Yes.
You know, Reverend Jadorette is the General Secretary of the Baptist Convention now.
Yes.
And I should have said that earlier on in our introduction. But we have a problem throughout the Caribbean with crime and violence. It's a phenomenon that apparently is sweeping these Western societies. Mm-hmm. Is it because our schools are failing?
Well,
our educational systems in the region, in the Caribbean, failing?
Well, I'm not an expert on the schools in the Caribbean, and I can't speak to that, but what I can say is we have to provide more opportunities where young people can see themselves in certain positions. And we talked about this on the radio show. Without a sense of hope, people are lost. And without a sense of identity about who they are and what they're capable of accomplishing, they're lost. And so that's why educating the citizens on the rich history of this country and letting them see the examples of those who have been very successful in this country and those who go to other countries and are very successful is really important to keep those role models in front of the youth so that they see what they can become.
But we have role models in front of them, Dr. Rome, and I am persuaded that there are a large number of young people, Reverend Jadorette, who see the opportunities, who see the role models, but they're not taking advantage of the opportunities that are available. I had a conversation with one of the assistant professors of the University of the Bahamas the other day. Mm-hmm. And I said to him that I believe our system of education works because we have thousands and thousands of young people who are well educated, but then we also have thousands who have fallen through the cracks because they have not taken advantage of the system of education and what is available to them.
Brother Jones, I think the problem is multifaceted, and it's not education. I think when we look at our socialization of young people, not just here in the Bahamas, but elsewhere, if the home, which is really the foundation, and you could come from the ghetto, but if your home values education, then it stands to reason that you will value education. If your home is one that pushes industry, then it stands to reason that you will be industrious. If your home is one that pushes faith, then it stands to reason that you will be guided by your faith as well. And so I think at a time when materialism has become the god of a great many people, some of the things that perhaps made you the man that you've become, the man that Dr. Rome has become, and the young man that I've become, those things are not as pronounced today as they were in yesteryears. And so I think the problem isn't just education as much as it is things are just very, very different now. And we have to go back to some of the old landmark that made us who we are today.
And my wife is an educator, and she talks about this. She said that in some communities, students are school dependent, meaning they receive whatever education and encouragement and enrichment in the school. But in some communities, the school supplements what the family provides. And if the family provides it and the school just supplements it, the student is going to be more successful. But if the student is solely dependent on getting it at school and it's not reinforced in the home, then that student is going to have challenges. And so that's why the community is so important, and people overuse this notion of the village raising the child. But I know I came from public housing, the projects, but in those projects, in that community, there were people who weren't educated and they didn't have money, but if they saw me doing something, they felt a responsibility to help in the rearing and make sure that I was on the right path or reporting it back to my parents. This whole notion of your neighbors taking responsibility for all the kids in the community is something that's lost in a lot of our communities, but it's something that's needed. We should all take responsibility for the young people, and we can't be afraid of them. We have to challenge them and hold them accountable. And in too many communities, people are afraid to go out and talk to them, but they didn't start out that way. When they're children, if we work with them and we grow them up a certain way, like you said, then it's there. But if we let them run whatever direction they're in when they're young, and we don't intervene while they're young, it's too late when they're 12 and 13 and 14. They're already set.
Yeah.
You talked about hope.
Yes.
And, you know, a man from Chicago talks about keeping hope alive.
Yes. Jesse Jackson.
Yes. That is something that you've not been able to do successfully.
Oh, I'm very hopeful. Despite everything that's happening, I couldn't be an educator if I wasn't hopeful. I still have as much hope today as I had when I started college many years ago and I chose to go into education. And I believe at the end of the day, we will achieve everything that Dr. Martin Luther King talked about and fought for. It's just a matter of time, and we have to stay steadfast and unmovable. And I don't want to preach, but we just have to be.
Always
we just
abounding.
have to, yes, but that's our responsibility. And I don't let whatever is happening now discourage me, because I have faith. I have faith that we will accomplish everything that we're setting out to accomplish. And so things don't always look positive and like they're going in the right direction, but that's where faith steps in. And I have the faith that we will take our right place in the universe, and that's as leaders.
But faith without work is
dead.
Is dead.
But all we need is mustard seed faith. And if we have the faith the size of a mustard seed, we can accomplish anything. So I believe.
And we have to give back, Brother Jones. When we have to give forward, we have to go back into these neighborhoods, these so-called ghettos, and pull some young man out and point him in the right direction. I was almost arrested the other day. I went into Montel Heights and I walked the Montel Heights community all by myself and talked to young men and tried to share with them that things could get better if you just make better choices and do the right things. And we now have a program that we're working on right now, the GEMS program at New Covenant Baptist Church, for instance. They go out and they find young women and they mentor these young women. And we're doing the same thing now with young men. I think if we do that, if everybody would do that, go back into these neighborhoods, and if we just save one child, one boy, one young woman, I think we will better our society in years to come.
Thank you so very much. Have we spoken enough about this?
Yes, and anyone who's out there listening and they have young people, look Fisk up.
Yeah.
We welcome Bahamian students. We know they're excellent. We have a long history with them. And Fisk has its doors open and its arms open, and we're waiting for them to come.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Rome.
Thank you so
much. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Bless you.
Very much, Reverend Jadorette. We thank you for joining us today on Jones & Company. Thank you for watching and listening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.